Hi everybody, it's Marnie and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all well. I would need another video to talk about what's gone on in the last week with me. But the good news is that I don't have a broken rib, but I did have a contusion. So this is just underneath the girdle there. It's really sore. So I can't even wear bras. These are almost free range. So anyways, thank you again for joining me. If you're new, please check out my first 12 videos. Today I'm going to do a follow-up on a video that I did on sexual reassignment surgery or vaginoplasty. And I got great feedback, great comments, so I wanted to add some stuff that I left out and also read some of these wonderful comments that my subscribers have left me. So I want to thank you guys for partaking in the journey and talking about it, because I guess I wasn't wrong. There is not a lot of information out there for older transgendered women. You know, I want to make a record so that kids don't have to go through what I did, who are just starting on the journey now. And I see all the videos and the young transgendered girls and stuff, and I'm just like going, oh, they're so cute at that age. Oh, they're so cute at that. Oh, I remember that. I remember going through that with T. I remember having the hormone blues, you know. Anyways, stick around and we'll get started, okay? Hi y'all, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about the comments that I got on the video about SRS or sexual reassignment surgery and the challenges decades past. I got some amazing comments around it. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit more about it's crude saying sex change surgery, but it almost cuts through all the bullshit when you put that on the web. It's like people go, oh, okay, or that's what people look for. The tender terms are now, it's gender confirmation surgery, and that's relative to each person, because whatever confirms you, you know, for your gender is your trip, nobody else's. And I tell you, I had a hard time wrapping my head around that, because I was brought up, you know, I'm 56 years old, so like I was getting all the information at 16, 1978, and it was like, girl, you get your nose done, and then you get your tits, and then you get then you get the surgery, and that was it. That was it. You didn't talk about anything else. That was the North Star. And it's so not like that now. It's like there's, you know, and I've learned so much too. Even just in the last, like, it was actually 2012 I started social media. And 2014 when I started being open about myself. And it was people like Laverne Cox, and even though it was just like on the internet and, you know, following each other and stuff, but a lot of these women like Janet Mock and Jen Richards and people, and I started to listen to women that, you know, that it wasn't about the genitalia, it wasn't about, and I used to always say that it was what's between your ears, not between your legs. And I did that for years, and I lived non-op and worked non-op and everything, but I think part of me was saying it just because I was, I had to stand up like that, you know, because I tell you, once I did it, you know, once the government in my province decided to pay for it, and I was the first one that they sent down, and I was, God, I was just turned 30-ish. It was just unbelievable how much different I felt. But that takes me to this story that I left out. It was the day before I went to have go down to Oregon to have my surgery. This wonderful friend that lived across the street from me that I'd known ever since I sobered up, and we were really, really close, and she threw a going away party for me. And so all my friends were there and stuff, and I went into the kitchen, and I looked at her, and she held my hands, and I said, isn't this unreal that I have to do this to feel okay in this world today, in this record of time, the way it is today? And I just started bawling. And she started crying too, and she goes, yeah, I know, it's so severe, it's so huge that you have to do this. And then I went the next day down to Portland, and everything went good and stuff, and I couldn't believe what a relief it was afterwards, because, you know, it was early 90s. It was still not cool. Like, even in the gay scene, like, people were just like, oh, she had the operation. Oh, no, she hadn't. It was like everybody's gossiping about body parts. It was just, it's not like it is today. Like, you guys are so lucky that you have the frickin', like, you know, the genital police in the trans community, like, frickin' going, nah, 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 which is good, you know, because, you know, I've said this in many of my videos, if I was born today in a bigger city and stuff like that too, I don't know if I would have done it. Like, there's so many pros and cons to having SRS. You know, one of the challenges is hormones. Like, I flatline on hormones now. And you know, I'm choosing to do it a natural way. There's a channel with a trans woman on it. Her name is Lena, and it's the Gypsy Blue Nomads. And it's a husband and wife, and they're both trans. Either way, they're really great. Like, they've decided not to be on hormones as well too, and stuff, and they gave me some really good advice on herbal routes, and I've looked at that before, but they really know their stuff. And he's certified in nutrition and stuff like that too. And check out his channel, Gypsy Blue, one word, Nomads. And it's like What's Up with the Cummings, they call their show, and they do it live, and I really love them. Hi guys. Hi Lena. Hi Mark. So anyways, let's read some comments, okay? Comment time from you guys. Okay. Okay, so this is funny because I mentioned my cis girlfriends in the Sexual Reassignment Decades Past video, and talking about how supportive my cisgender friends are. I thought my cat was around here. Has she been walking around? Anyways, and she wrote, great vlog. You are a great speaker. Oh, thank you. Except for my and like, and a great gal. I am one of your cis women who earlobes holes grow over in a day. So yeah, I talked about that because if you want to know how your surgery, if you're going to have surgery goes, it's like, and how much you have to dilate. If you have earlobe piercings and how old they are, it's like check. See how fast they grow over, or how tight it is to get something in there. I don't know if it's no old wives' tale or what, but she added to that. So she said, for herself, being a cis woman, bio woman, or whatever you want to call it, lots of problems, hormones, she stopped them, maintenance, you know, maintenance down there. Yuck, we girls are one. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like, it's not just trans women issues when it comes to, you know, trans women that decide to have that. It's like that, you know, vaginas are vaginas. You know, it's like, you know, it's debate. Of course, there's different things. Like, I don't have a womb and stuff like that too. But when it comes to, you know, use it or lose it type of thing. Like, I have lesbian friends that are called Mustangs or whatever. Like, they've never been with men. And they say that it's just absolutely painful beyond belief for them to have it. So it's good to know, you know. Anyways, this is from Danny. Thank you. I'm a 50-year-old trans woman who has not yet transitioned. I find there is nothing for older trans women, especially long term. It is nice what you're doing and share honestly. Thank you, Daniela. Bravo. Oh, thank you. That's so awesome. Yeah, I responded to her. I really appreciate that. And then Callie, it's your lack of hormones. See an endocrinologist to get your hormone levels balanced and you'll be good to go. And I guess she hadn't read my HRT journey, and I told her about it. Because for me, it was after my last divorce, every time I had to dilate, I would just start crying because I was so upset. I talk about that in the video. And so it just got less and less and less. And then it became harder and harder to do it. Oh, okay, this is from, oh, Callie again. I can understand how hard it can be a chore to have something like that to do. I wish you the best on working through that. I've spoken with many girls who have had SRS, and most hate that part of the whole thing. I have thought about getting it, but I don't think the technique is where I'd like it to be. Thanks for replying, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. Yeah, Callie. I guess she used to be she was one of the originals that was on really, really young on YouTube. Yeah, it was, yeah, she's had some interesting stuff why she quit. So check out her channel, Callie. She's a great sister. Yeah, and I wrote, yeah, I get your reluctance. I was horrified at 18 in 1980 when I was first scheduled and I canceled when a gal showed me her result. I waited 13 years till the look was perfected, and you definitely could experience the O. When it comes to having to achieve orgasm, I didn't believe it. And I even went to have the surgery. I thought, okay, these are just old trannies like telling, stories to make themselves feel good. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. It's like, it was about a year and a half after I had the surgery, and I was with somebody, and I had my first one. I thought I was gonna die. It was like, I just couldn't believe it. It was just so uncontrollable, everything. I actually called, they actually had a gender clinic back then. It was still under the Harry Benjamin stuff and everything. And I made an appointment to see this nurse that I knew, that I was close to, and I went there that day and I was so freaked out, and I was like, la la la, and I told her, and she explained how I was still able to have them and stuff, but it was a totally different feeling too, and it was multiple and everything. So don't be worried, gals, if you're thinking about having it and you're worried about not being able to achieve that. You can do it. And mine was like decades ago, so I could imagine what they're doing now. Okay, Jon Anker. Hello, I found your channel and I like it very much. Please load up more videos. Oh, I will. Thank you. And then Googler. I love this girl. This woman. Great conversation to be had. Anxiety plays a large part in getting comfortable with your body. She said she's 23 years post-op. It took about 10 years to get comfortable. And of course, finding the right partner as well was a big part. Glad to have had the experience. Glad to have had experienced the freedom to be stealth in the 90s. Hallelujah, I hear you, girl. It's much more rare nowadays to be stealth, both because of more awareness and social media, but there's also more compassion. That comes a long way with the criticism of transness. Yeah, not so true. Hallelujah to that. So much different. And but it's, I remember in the 80s when I was modeling, for designers and stuff, and I'd be in a bar afterwards with some of the models, and I'll never forget this one time I went to the bath, a girlfriend, she went to the bathroom, she's just gorgeous goddess. I'm 5'10", 10 and a half, and she was like almost 6 feet. And this guy comes over to me and goes, when she goes to the bathroom, he goes, I don't mean to be rude, but it's like, did your friend that went to the bathroom, did she used to be a guy? And I was just like, oh, I think you better ask her. So it's like, it's like being clocked is all relative. You know what I mean? Like you can be a friggin' supermodel, and like guys think you're a friggin' trans person too. So, and I had a sponsor once. I actually I moved to a new city and I'm in recovery, so I got a new sponsor. And the only reason why I got her as a sponsor because I thought she was a lesbian. And and to my chagrin, I found out she wasn't at all a lesbian. She was just from Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. And it's like, they're rough and tumble women up there. And, I'm a city girl, so of course I saw a woman that was kind of, tough and stuff. I thought that, see, it's all in our heads, right? So it's just the way we hold ourselves. I've seen the most, you know, masculine-ish type women. I've been friends with them that were like on Olympic ski teams and stuff, and they've changed, and I was like really weird about it, but I started to know, I was like really like, oh my god, she's gonna out me, like going out with her. And she would be so kind and just so loving the way that she would approach people that it just didn't matter. Like she would, kindness and love and just common sense goes a long way. It's like, and I wouldn't know if these people knew or not, but all I know is they felt comfortable with her person. So I've learned a lot too. I had my own transphobia. I've got an actual video on that too. Okay, let's finish this up. Oh, the wheeze, I love her. Is 4¼ depth good? That's what I have after 40 years of neglect. Well, I've had lots of talks with her, and she's, you can read my comments to figure her out type of thing. That's actually pretty good for that long, you know what I mean? And there's lots of other things that you can do, like with a partner. Thanks for sharing. Oh, this is from Candy Kroll. Candy Kroll, yeah. Thanks for sharing, sweetie. You're right. Not a bunch of info out there. And total silence for years about transitioning, HRT, SRS, everything. I'm very open about my experiences and make a point of sharing with younger folks. I was shocked at how I've changed so much and wish there had been people to inform me. Keep being fabulous, sweetie. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, it's so true. I just had my surgery when it's like computers are starting to become, a thing to have in your home, like a TV. Like that's, if I would have had that then, before then, like, oh God, so many of my friends would be alive. Like, yeah, there's so much support. I know the internet can be nuts, but it's like, there's so much good in it too. Like the community that I found on YouTube has just been great. So I just love you guys for responding and all that. Oh, here's from Louise again. She goes, me too, sort of. I just had an awakening almost 2 years ago after suppressing my sexuality for almost 40 years. I had a handful of sexual experiences after a GRS, so that's gender, I don't know what that R is, reconstructive surgery, yeah, in the late 70s. That's another way you can say it. I had no one to consult with, so I didn't know what to do when a partner asked if I was using a diaphragm, meaning my vaginal canal was too small. So I started to worry that I'd be found out and haven't had sex since then. Also, the stent I had after the surgery was very spongy, and I was concerned about toxic shock. I just had to put it all behind me for all those years while I worked and tried to have a normal life. In retirement in my late 60s, I ordered a dilation kit through the mail and started using it. I've neglected for the area for 35 plus years, but amazingly still have elasticity there. I dilate several times a week now, probably much too late in life, and to what end I haven't the foggiest. And now, as you know, I have seen myself through my sister's eyes. Oh, okay, and then she gets into stuff, but you guys can read my comments if you want to read more of her stuff. But yeah, and she talked about having 4, almost 5 inches depth, so that's pretty good, Weeze, for doing that, and I love you. And Dundee's King, you're a beautiful soul. Thank you. That's so sweet. Amber Fiora, thank you for your honesty, sis. The visual aspect, lubrication problems, and trauma can affect it all. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, you have to make sure that you do all that stuff. Make sure, you know, what you need, you know, like any person, couple having sexual relations, you need to talk about each other and your functions and stuff. Oh, here we have my little, here you go, my little sidekick, Suka. Okay, you gonna be a little brat? I'm almost done. Okay. Yeah, it's almost dinner time. Mike Hunt, thanks for the video. You're right. There's very little information to be found. That's true. This is from Rolia. First off, it's so refreshing to see a mature trans woman on YouTube. Kudos to you. Thank you. And what I wanted to say was being on estrogen is so important after SRS. It's not only the life force behind cis women's vaginas, but all ours as well. It keeps our vagina lining thick and moist and more elastic. I can tell you right now, after shot, dilation is super easy and no pain at all. I didn't realize this until I was off hormones and dilation was uncomfortable, and I felt drier internally as well as doing research. It's also important to prevent post-op trans women from developing osteoporosis. And great video, by the way. Thank you. And I did mention to her about the HRT and about how it doesn't work for me. Ms. Mac, such a great discussion. I'm 15 years post-op and I hate maintenance too. Then it gets to the point where I won't be open to relationships because I'm not ready to go. Yeah, so I can relate. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Gotta have partners that are very, very understanding and loving. Yeah, and then to Shanna Andrews, she gave me about 20 kisses. So thank you. Back to you too. So anyways, that's the comments that I got on that video. I want to thank you all for your comments. Please keep commenting. If you're new and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe. I'm a nice girl. Give this video a thumbs up. It would be great. And share this video. Please comment down below. And please take care of yourself. And it is quite the journey, and it's your journey, not anybody else's. Everybody else is different. And thank you for teaching me, really. All of you young gals out there, you've taught me so much, because we get stuck in our ways, and you know, we're conditioned, we're born a certain time, and you know, I've learned so much being on YouTube and open on the internet, and it will help, you know, in the mainstream as well with understanding. And that's why my YouTube channel mission is about deepening the message of the transgendered experience through dialogue that is laced with love and kindness and understanding. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's be our highest selves for each other, because the world's pretty in a mess right now. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful week. I hope to see you Thursday for a nice meditation. I do a Q&A afterwards, after the meditation, to see how things are. And because I know for me, meditation and restorative yoga has helped me so much on my journey as a transgendered woman, navigating through this world, especially when I lived in the big city. And you don't have to be transgender to know that how crazy it is out there. Okay, love you guys. Namaste. Kisses.